Welcome to Attention Retention, the podcast where we explore the world of recruitment and retention in the trucking and logistics industry. I'm your host, Jackie McManus, CEO of KJ Media, a recruitment advertising agency specializing in this space. Today, we'll discuss 4 tips for leveraging your driver personas profiles in your campaign strategy and how it can help you build a strong and reliable workforce. Make sure to like and subscribe on whatever channel you're listening to so you can stay up to date on all future content.
Welcome to Attention Retention with Jackie McManus, your source for the latest trends in transportation recruitment and retention.
In our last podcast, we discussed how you can create driver personas and how to go about doing so. In this podcast specifically, we will be discussing how to create targeted marketing campaigns that will reach and engage with your ideal candidate through your driver personas. If you're ready to get started, listen on to these 4 essential tips that will help you leverage your driver personas and your campaign strategy. Tip number 1, get prepared and train your recruiters. Once you have your driver personas in place, you must train your recruitment team on who your driver personas are. Cover their defining characteristics, what they look for in an employer, and what makes them quote unquote tick. Remember your recruiters that breaking your search for quality drivers into personas will help your team to save time by focusing their search on specific candidates, which leads to overall less turnover and easier to reach hiring goals. Once your recruitment team is caught up, you can regroup to brainstorm methods of leveraging these driver personas for more effective, relevant, and successful campaigns. Tip number 2, think ahead. It's no surprise that younger generations prefer texts and emails over traditional means of communication like phone calls. When looking at your driver personas, you'll want to tailor your follow-up communications to each persona's preferences. It might be better to reach out via text for one persona and schedule a call for another. It all depends on the demographics of who your target audience is. Think ahead on how you can incorporate this into your campaigns. Perhaps you can set up an ad, sends users straight to a text conversation for personas that prefer that, while another driver persona is served an ad that prompts them into setting up a phone call with a recruiter. Honor how your drivers prefer to communicate, which will lead to better recruitment experiences for all parties. Tip number 3, execute your plan and identify the right platforms that you want to advertise on. Depending on your prospective driver's age, the social platforms they're on is going to differ. Baby boomers and Gen X, now known as the oldest 2 generations in the workforce, are primarily using Facebook as their social platform of choice. When it comes to engaging, connecting with millennials and Gen Z, you guessed it, TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, those are the platforms that they're on. And so when targeting your driver personas on these platforms, you really want to get specific on what platforms they're on and how they prefer to communicate. Let's say you during the driver persona campaign and realize that 45% of millennials work for your company and they're primarily on Instagram and TikTok. You could set up advertising campaigns that target these drivers specifically on those platforms and run them through an automation system that is primarily via text or via email. That's where you're going to see a higher conversion. Now, on the flip side, for baby boomers and the Gen X, again, the 2 oldest generations in the workforce that are primarily on Facebook, you can set up marketing campaigns on those platforms and have it so targeted where they can call an 800 number or call a direct line to connect them with a recruiter versus filling out the full mobile app via their mobile phone. So really what you want to do is make sure that you have that plan in place when you're targeting each generation of the workforce on the social media so that you're communicating and converting them at a high speed. Tip number 4, deliver personalized content. Each of your driver personas are in different stages of their career with unique needs, wants, and challenges. And discussed in our previous podcast, these characteristics make it easier for you as a carrier to strategic goals for your messaging. Now that you've determined which platforms are best to reach your personas on and what your driver personas are seeking in a prospective job opportunity, it's time to tailor that ad specifically. You want to use the keywords and visual aspects that are persuasive to each driver persona. In the last podcast, we discussed identifying 2 hurdles that a specific persona may have when joining a new company. For example, the empty nester. They want to stay regionally. They're okay with a couple of routes off the road. You really want to use some of those messaging to target that empty nester specifically so that they click on the ad and then they convert into the full application. Let's say on the flip side, let's return to the example of the young driver who's a parent and looking for more home time with their family. You can tailor your messaging to their unique needs and goals by stressing the home time and benefits of the position you're advertising for. Now that you've built out your driver personas and fully integrated them into your recruitment strategy, you're well on your way to hiring more drivers. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.